Excuse me. Hello. How is everybody doing? Give me one. I just got my IV set up for the day. I'm very, very late on doing so because I didn't wake up till like 12:30. So I'm a little late in setting things up today. But I thought I would come hang out for a little while and just chill with you guys before Benadryl kicks in and I take a nap. Because reactions have been a little bit, like, not bad, but rough. Well, other than that one night. But let everybody come in for a minute. Let YouTube get those notifications out. Oh, fuck, that hurts. Why are you being butthead? Really? I forgot to change my TV pads again. Dude, I need a haircut. Got that going. How is everybody today? We're just kind of gonna chill. Thought about playing some Minecraft, but I think I'm just gonna be here for a few minutes, give an update on things, and go from there. So, yeah. We're just kind of chilling around here. Okay. Give it another minute or so. I want to eat a... Well, actually, let's have a little bit of this. Dropping candy everywhere. I don't like the crunchy part of that one very much. I'm like, why does it feel like I'm laying down so far? All right. So update time. This has been a kind of a rough week for me. So early last week, we ended up. I think it was Wednesday. My poor hair. I need to cut my hair so bad. Actually, I think it was Wednesday. We ended up needing to go to the ER because it appeared that my feeding tube was once again embedded in the muscle. Which turned out to be a little bit of a pointless ER trip because all they did was an x-ray of the tube to see where the tube was, which they check the tube itself. They don't check at the abdomen with an x-ray. You can't really see how well it's embedded in that muscle in an x-ray. You have to do a CAT scan for that. But the doctor came in, he's like, yep, really, it's further out than usual, blah, blah, blah. That kind of confirms that it is in the muscle. He's like, we'll get you admitted and we'll get you taken care of tomorrow. Then they did the x-ray and the resident came in. He's like, yep, we're going to, it's in place. It's working. We're going to send you home. Which I knew meant this was going to take another week to get fixed. So they sent me home, got a hold of my surgeon and said, hey, or got a hold of IR and stuff and surgeon, and they said, let's get it fixed, but also we need to figure out a solution for this because it keeps doing this. Which probably means I'm going to have some sort of surgery to move the tube, which I'm very unhappy about. But we're still talking to the surgeon about that. He's still going over ideas on his plan and stuff, and he should contact me in the next few days to kind of go figure that out. Chances are it's going to involve some sort of surgery, just because this is a reoccurring issue and it's not fixing. Part of that is because I do have connective tissue disease and it doesn't heal the same. I heal very, very slowly in comparison. So for most people, while changing that out would have given it some time to heal, it didn't for me. This tube is only 2 weeks old. So yeah. Anyway, that being said, they sent me home Wednesday night. Thursday night, I had to use my EpiPen. My neighbors were grilling. They have a charcoal grill. I'm not sure what type of charcoal they were using, but obviously my body did not like it in the least. And I ended up needing my EpiPen because, not because my throat closed off, but my mouth got really weird. My tongue kind of got feeling funky. And then I started passing out. And I have the POTS, so passing out happens. But when it's related to a reaction, that means my blood pressure is dropping and we need to get it up. So epinephrine is what does that. So we epied and we went into the hospital. We mostly sat out in the waiting room for the 4 hours that you have to wait after an epi. But during that time, I started to rebound, which means I started passing out again. Mouth got real weird again, got real itchy. So when they got me back there, they gave me a round of Benadryl, steroid, Pepcid, all through the IV. Things started to calm down. And then it ramped back up again. My tongue swelled up. Like, my tongue was all here. Like, it was bad. So they had to do another round of Benadryl. That did calm me down enough to go home, thankfully. So 2 ER trips in 24 hours. Lovely, lovely. But also that next day I'm trying to get a hold of IR. They're like, oh, we've got to have the doctor review the stuff, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, you gotta be kidding me. So the IR doctor has to review the order. With this being a recurrent issue, he has to review the order, see what they want to do. Not looking forward to this because Friday we go in and they're going to deflate the balloon, push it back in and reinflate it type of deal. That's going to hurt. That's going to hurt a lot. So I'm hoping they'll be willing to do some pain medication to really help that out. We shall see. But it's not going to be fun. Normally for any tube stuff I am asleep, but because this is just a reposition, they're not going to put me to sleep. I'm not happy. But hey, we got to fix this. It's currently normally my tube sits around the 6 to 5 centimeter mark. Like I can see the notch for the 6 and the 5. If I push back my belly, you can see the 4. Right now I can see the 1 centimeter mark without moving my belly. So we're definitely at it's definitely in the muscle, and I can see the top of the balloon where it attaches to the tube. So that means, yeah, it's definitely in the muscle. But yeah. On top of that, reactions have been kind of crazy as far as like, not crazy, but they've been pretty consistent. I've had to be on Benadryl most of the week or the weekend. I always do a round of like 24-hour round the clock Benadryl after an EpiPen for about 2 days. But it's just kind of been ramping up. This eye is funky. This eye is a little funky, but you can see they're not. This one's a lot more. Like you can tell this one's swelled a little bit. So, it's been doing that a lot. So I've been on a lot of Benadryl. Been really, really tired. I'm also having some stomach issues. I'm thinking I'm having my first stomach bug since my tube was placed, which for me feels a little bit different because, like, I'm nauseous as fuck. I've barely been touching food, like just comfort food, because it makes me nauseous. That was like, ugh, it feels horrible. I want to throw up. Thankfully, I have a drain, and that drain typically keeps me from throwing up too much, um, which is very nice for me. But I've also had just my stomach has been the bowel movements have been awful. As you guys, those of you who know, for close to a month now, I am having complete bowel incontinence. Just not really getting the signals that I need to go. Uh, Not having the typical belly gurgles like I normally do. So I just end up like messing myself because I can't feel when I need to go. Pair that with a little bit of a tummy bug, and I've pretty much had blowout diapers for the last 2 days. um, I take Imodium right now. I don't like when I'm using the toilet. I normally don't take Imodium just because it does slow things down. It kind of causes some cramping. It's just not it's not something you're supposed to take all the time. Currently, since the incontinence, I've been taking Imodium at least once a day, and well, maybe not every day. It depends on how I wake up. Like if I wake up to a blowout, typically I'll do Imodium. And yesterday and the day before, I was taking Imodium, and it wasn't touching it. It was absolutely not touching it, which means yeah, we probably got a bug going on. Um, Yesterday, I think I ended up going through like 6 diapers, even though I didn't have a messy diaper until like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Because well, no, that's not true. I had a messy diaper in the morning, but then we went to an appointment. Thank fuck it did not happen at my appointment. So normally with my appointments, it's like, okay, it's a 15-minute appointment, you're done. You know, you go in the waiting room, you have your appointment, you're done. You go home. This was a psychiatry appointment, so it was like a 2-hour appointment, and I was so nervous that I was going to shit myself. Um, that has yet to happen in public because I've been home so much. And when I was at the ER, I was constantly just sitting on the toilet in hopes that I would go. Just sitting on the toilet. I did not want to have a mess. Um, I don't do that at home because, quite honestly, it is too much stress to let that rule my life. To be on the toilet every hour to try and not have a poopy diaper just doesn't work mentally for me. Um, Also, if I'm doing that and I'm trying to go when I can't all the time, it leads to hemorrhoids, which makes more problems. So typically, I'm not going to do that at home. Everyone's like, oh, if you time void, then maybe you won't mess and pee your pants. And I did that for a while when the bladder incontinence started, and it was just a bunch of stress. With the bladder, I can't physically make myself go. Um, if I like, sometimes if I push on my bladder real good, I'll get a little bit out. I do that if I have to give a urine sample. I'll kind of just push on it and sit there until I go. But when it's an all day, everyday thing, sitting on that toilet and not going, not feeling it, and then I'd get up after like 15, 20 minutes sitting on the toilet and put a diaper on, and within 10 minutes I pee. And then it just was not doable to my lifestyle and to my mental health. Um, I don't want to let that rule my life. I don't need to get into that habit and into that anxiety. I'm better off if I just wear the diaper and kind of let it happen on its own. I have way less anxiety about situations if I do that. If I'm just prepared for the fact that I'm going to pee and poop myself, I'm not going to worry as much. Now, when it comes to the messing right now, I'm more worried because for me, changing my diaper is quite an ordeal. I have hypermobility, I have POTS, I have gastroparesis. Um, the POTS is the biggest problem when it comes to diaper changing. I get really woozy when I'm doing up, down, moving around type of deal. Um, so for me currently, it's hop in the shower, get everything rinsed off, put a diaper on, put cream on, put a diaper on. Because the whole with the hypermobility and the pain that's going on in my J tube currently, contorting myself all around the floor to clean up my butt is not, it's not good. I end up more tired. I end up more likely to pass out than if I were to hop in the shower for 5 minutes. And I do only bottom half shower because I do have my port accessed. I can't take a full ass shower every time because I'd have to cover up my port. And I did that for a couple of weeks but I had a lot of allergic reaction going on to the particular adhesive that I have to use for showers. So in public, changes scare the living shit out of me right now because I have to do it on my own. I've never been very good at changing a messy diaper of my own. It's really hard to get yourself clean, especially when you have no colon and you have very loose stool and it goes all over. It's been crazy. One day I ended up with a diaper that was so bad that I hopped in the shower to take this thing off and it just was up my back. It was bad. Ended up with having to clean up the floor because there was poop and pee on the floor. Like, it was bad. So it's like going out in public and doing that scares the living shit out of me. And mind you, my partner will be here in 24 days. So they'll be helping with those changes to alleviate that stress a bit. They'll be helping with changes when they're home in general because I genuinely need the help. And so, yeah. But thankfully yesterday, all that to say, thankfully yesterday, I was good. Like, I had a messy diaper in the morning, and I had a messy diaper about 20 minutes after I got home. And that was like a 4 to 5 hour window, which for me is pretty good, given what was going on. But it's still like the mental side of it is still getting to me a little bit. For example, my sleep schedule is thrown off completely right now. But yes, yesterday morning and yesterday night, I had a messy diaper around 4 o'clock in the morning. I was still awake, but 4 o'clock in the morning was a messy diaper. Showered, changed, got ready for bed. I fell asleep at about 5, and I had my nurse coming at 9:30 or at 9:45, and that's about an hour earlier than she normally comes. So I was set my alarm to wake up at 9 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, I can get up at 9, change the messy wet diaper, morning diaper. She'll do her thing, and then we can get ready and leave for my other appointment that I had yesterday. And I slept through my alarm. And I woke up to my nurse calling me. Not only that, I woke up to this diaper literally had nowhere left for anything to go. It was so full, and my bed was wet. But my nurse was here. I could not take that time to change my diaper at that moment. Thank heck. I was not stinky when I woke up, which is rare right now. But if I'm not messy when I wake up, usually within the first like hour, um, we'll have a messy diaper. So I stay in my night diaper until that happens, and then I shower and change and get a new diaper on. Well, I couldn't do that yesterday. This diaper was so full, there was no chance that it was going to contain anything. So I had to change. And then, of course, like 30 minutes after she left, had a messy butt and had to change again. So it was like, yesterday was rough. So, but like my mental part of me is like, okay, so I know I'm gonna poop within the first hour of being awake, almost always. And logic would say, well, then go sit on the toilet for that time, so you avoid messing your diaper. But I also know, once again, mentally, I can't do that. I also know if I do that, I end up with hemorrhoids and pain, and it's just not good. So it's like I have to battle in my mind, almost not justifying it, but in a way justifying it to myself. Like, hey, technically I could sit on the toilet until this happened. Um, but I don't because it's just not the healthiest option for me as far as mental health goes, and I need to come to grips with that. And that's probably one of the hardest things I'm working on coming to grips with is just the I can't feel it. Should I sit there? Should I try to use the toilet, or should I just let it happen in the diaper? Not that I have a ton of choice 90% of the time. Like this morning, I was just wet when I woke up. Um, but about an hour in, it was almost over an hour, but I ended up having a messy butt, and it's like, well, I could have sat on the toilet, but then again, it's like I'm literally stuck to the toilet all day, every day if I do that because there is no rhyme or reason to my bowels. Other than I know usually if I'm not messy when I wake up, I will within the first hour of being awake. Um, and funny enough, I think the only thing that saved me from having a messy diaper out in public yesterday at the doctor's office specifically was that I was sitting in my wheelchair and not moving around. Because I think what led to me ending up having the diaper change thing going on about 20 minutes after I got home was the fact that there were no scooters at Walmart, so I did have to walk around. And we had to walk all the way back to get milk and then back up front. And just that walking, I think, stirred things up enough that, you know, within 20 minutes, I messed myself. And I was making food at the time, and it was, when you have a tummy bug, it was a blowout situation, and I just had to go. I had to go change. Um, but yeah, it's just been a lot of stress with that. Thankfully, tomorrow I am getting paid, and I will be purchasing things to assist me with some of those issues. I will be getting diaper covers to wear in public. I will be also probably making some because they're more comfy and cute. Um, but I'll be getting diaper covers. I'm ordering a lot more diapers than I was. I'm ordering double. Yeah. And I probably will get some like store brand diapers to have on hand for days like yesterday where it's literally just, it doesn't stop. Um, just so that we're not wasting the good ones for like when I have to change every couple hours, if not every hour, depending on the stomach. Um, but having those on hand, and I will be finally getting a cover for my bed. I do have a waterproof sheet. Hello. Um, I do have a waterproof sheet for my bed. And I'm gonna move this out so I can see everybody a little bit better. Um, but it is getting old. It needs to be replaced. But also, on top of that, I don't want to be washing my sheet every 5 seconds. Um, so I will be getting a very large bed pad thing that goes on the bed that waterproofs, like the reusable ones. Um, Given we're going to be switching beds here, we're going to be going to a king bed in a couple weeks when my partner gets here. Um, I am a very mobile, well, not that mobile, but I am a little bit of a mobile sleeper, so we have to have as much of the bed covered as possible. So instead of getting like one of those 30 by 30 ones that goes just under you, I'm going to get one that basically covers the entire bed, or at least it's a 40 by 60 inch. And we're going to use that to cover the bed so that if I do roll over and stuff, that we don't leak on the bed, no matter where I'm at. So, on top of that, I'm buying stuff for changing out in public. I'm not looking forward to that. Um, but given that there's no good way to change an adult or a special needs kid or anything in the U.S. There's nothing that fits anybody outside of very small human. So what are we left with doing? Changing on the floor of public restrooms. Or changing in the car or whatever we have to do. So we are buying a changing pad for that that's going to be like really long and wide enough for my whole body to be covered. So I'm not like laying my head on the dirty, disgusting floor. My butt's not, just to have it completely under me 100%. So I'm ordering that. I've got to basically find a diaper bag of some sort. What probably will just use a backpack. Um, have travel size stuff, butt cream, wipes, gloves, diapers, change of clothing, because yes, I do tend to leak through the diaper because I have water poop and it's not easily it leaks. I was taking a nap yesterday and I woke up to a blowout and it was all over my pants, all over the thing I had a towel under me. It was just like it's so stressful, you guys. It is so stressful, and I'm sorry that we're talking a lot about this poop stuff, but this is primarily was it started as an incontinence channel, and this is what incontinence is like when you have no colon, at least. If I had a colon, this whole diaper situation would be completely different. I would be cloth diapering a lot, um, because it's just going through this many diapers. Uh, and if I had a colon, I know I wouldn't be going through as many. But honestly, um, if I had a colon still and had normal bowel movements, I would be using cloth diapers at this point. Um, I like cloth diapers a lot. It's just that doing it on my own is too much work. Now, mind you, when I have an aide who can help me do laundry and things like that, that's another story. When my partner gets here and we can do laundry together, that's a whole other story. But it's just there's not going to be a real pretty way to do it with how my stomach is. And I mean, I am kind of throwing it out, like keeping in the idea that I might do some cloth diapering at least sometimes, especially at night. I think that I would have a lot better success with no leaking and stuff at night if I were to cloth diaper. But cloth diapering for a baby is super easy. They're so little and tiny. You can just hold it over the toilet and spray it, or dump the poop out in the toilet. For an adult that has no colon, that's a whole different story. Um, but it may be something I look into eventually. Discussing that with partner as time goes on, because the reality is they're gonna have to help me. So, like my previous partner, I did cloth exclusively for a year. He hated it. He hated putting them on, helping me put them on. He absolutely hated it. So I do take that into consideration when I am choosing which products to use. But currently, we're going to do disposables. Maybe throw in some cloths in the long run. They're expensive to buy, though. It sucks. Like, even like the one I was looking at, I am a heavy set person. I am usually above the general sizing for cloth diapers that are sold for adults. So I found one that should fit me, but it is $56 a piece. It's Leo. What's up, buddy? What's wrong? Why are you crying at your brother? He's just sitting up there. He's become so vocal lately, it's not even funny. Why are we? He's right there. You don't need to shout at him. He does it to wake his brother. Like, as soon as he starts meowing, Simon comes running. Um, I think he's bored and wants snuggles and play, which I can turn their toy on in a few minutes. You just big-tailed him, Simon. He just pounced on Leo, and now Leo's got a big old tail. But yeah, I have had to put a lot of research into this all in the last couple of weeks, because in preparation for I'm getting paid, I have to order diapers anyway. Um, in preparation for that, I've been trying to figure out what I want to do. Um, the fact that $500 of my budget is now diapers, that's not great. But yeah, so not looking forward to this part of life as far as that goes. It's just like financially, that's gonna kick us in the ass. Um, and hopefully, maybe down the road, my partner will have a job that has like a FSA or a flex spending card through their insurance or whatever. It's not all that common, but it does cover diapers and things like that, which would be really, really good. Um, for now, it's all out of pocket. I do though. I did discover this week. I have United Healthcare. I'm on Medicare and Medicaid, and I have United, and they have a lot of the Medicaid companies for insurance do they give you money toward like over the counter things. Some of them are like towards food that like healthy foods and things like that. My current one is $244 a month, and it's a type of you get that much, you spend what you spend, and at the end of the month it's gone. Like whatever's left over, you don't keep, which is kind of a bummer. But I usually can find a way to spend the $244. It's not hard. I could use it on like yogurt and juices, which is my primary diet. Also, my canned chicken stuff that I do. I think it covered baby food as well. I don't remember though. I'll have to try that again this month. But currently, my diet is consisting of, for comfort, eating, and draining. Yes, it is Dinos. I made this one. I have matching pants that I need to make, but I have not gotten to sewing them yet. Um, they're literally sitting over there. I need to make them. Currently, I'm wearing stitch pants. It's a very great combo. But I did discover that my insurance card will cover store brand diapers, like Depends, Always, Walmart diapers. It'll cover any of that. It also covers the certain butt creams. It covers Desitin and Aquaphor. I currently use Balmex. I like that one a lot. I don't particularly like Desitin. It smells like fish oil, and I don't like that. Leo, stop. He wants to play. Give me a second. Let's get his toy out for him. You want to play? Yeah, do you want to play? Watch out. Watch out. You gotta move. This toy gets so much use. It's not even funny. But yeah, so they cover wipes, gloves, and butt cream and cheap diapers. But sadly, I don't really use the cheap diapers because I need a higher capacity and I change way too often in the cheap diapers. Now, doing those for a short term, like if you have a stomach bug, perfectly fine. Things when you're going to be changing regularly anyway, like really regularly. We're talking like every hour or two, I have had to change. Even yesterday, I was going so often that I just, at one point, I had a messy diaper and I'm like, nope, I'm not getting up to change. I've got butt cream on. We're going to poop again in an hour anyway. Probably. So I stayed in that diaper until we inevitably pooped again. Um, but yeah, I got those XL assurance wipes from Walmart. I got 192 of them. So it comes in 2 packs of 96, I believe. I got gloves, 2 boxes of nitrile gloves. I can get Aquaphor and Desitin on there, which I might use depending. My Balmex Andrew bought for me with his FSA. But I'm talking like I go through like a tub every couple weeks. So I have to greatly protect my skin currently because of the acid level. My skin is not a happy camper right now. I mean, right now it's not bad, but if I am in messy diapers all the time, it's not good. So we have to definitely use lots of cream. If you've been here a while, you know I am not the person to use cream. I hate using cream. I hate using powder. I still won't do powder. That is one that I still currently do not do. Um, because it gets stuck in places that I don't like it to get stuck in. So, but it's literally like it's been kind of an all-consuming project the last couple of weeks, figuring out what route to take diaper wise, what route to take cover wise, what to get for my bed, what to get for on the go in the car type of deal for changes. It's just been a whole heck of a lot. And I got to get another backpack, although I have one that I currently could technically use as a diaper bag. Um, it depends on, I would like something a little bit smaller than that though for my diaper bag because I already carry a big old tactical backpack. It weighs like 15 pounds when all my stuff is in it, so it's pretty hardcore. But it's not big enough to fit everything I need for diapering. So it will fit feeding tube stuff. It fits, it fits a diaper or two, and it fits like my flushes and IVs and stuff like that. But it does not fit everything together. So what'll probably end up happening is we have feeding tube, IV bag, and then we'll do a separate diaper bag that has, a change pad in it, a diaper change, a cover, well, probably 2 diapers, a cover or 2, wipes, gloves, butt cream, like the whole deal. Because every time I change my diaper, I have to do butt cream. So yeah, that's been life. It's been a very consuming process. Um, but we're getting it figured out. We'll get it figured out. It's going to be a lot easier to figure it out once Chloe is here and we can at least limit the showers, because quite like, yeah, you think showers are great for you, but it does dry out your skin. I'm in that shower probably 3-4 times a day at least, if not 5 or 6 depending on the day. So it's very drying to my skin. And with having the EDS, my skin is already pretty sensitive. With adding mast cell to that, it's even more sensitive. So we need to be reducing those showers as much as we can. Um, I'm having to use lotion way more. I'm having to use way more butt cream because of it, just my poor body. And thankfully, the butt cream gives it a little bit of a moisture barrier, but it's still, I have acid for poop, basically, and it gets taken off real quick. But by the way, Balmex is pretty good. When I get up to go grab my feeding tube stuff, which is going to be in about 5-10 minutes, I will grab the Balmex and show you guys because I like this stuff a lot. My favorite used to be butt paste, but I am allergic to something in there. Last time I tried it, I ended up with a worse rash than I had because my skin reacted to it. So it was not doable. It may have just been the extra strength one. I don't know. I may try it again, but currently, um, we need something really quite heavy duty. And butt paste is really good at helping the skin out, but it does not stay on the skin very well. So that means I have to change almost immediately after I poop, which I do change almost immediately after I poop anyway. But at least with this one, like I did yesterday, I had a mess. I had taken Benadryl and had to take a nap. I literally crashed for like 2-3 hours straight and woke up because I woke up messing in the midst of messing and then I went to change. So this does give me that ability. I do not recommend doing that. It's only because it's a stomach bug thing and I was exhausted and woozy and not feeling good. So yeah, but it's a lot consuming. It's so consuming. And then dealing with little side on top of it. And I know I've talked about this before, but I'll talk about it again because I feel like this is something that not a lot of people really think about. Um, I've talked about how I have a theory that certain types of littles are possibly, it's just a theory I have, but that certain ways, certain littles it may not be like, oh, I have a little side. It may be almost not necessarily a full fleshed out personality, but similar to that. By that, it's kind of a very specific setting, I would say, for me, that would consider that. But like, for example, I have a pretty much constant mental image of my little side. He's in there, he's kind of doing his thing, he talks to some degree, but I can kind of communicate it with him in my head. And as of late, I've been a bit, what's the word, self-deprecating and harsh regarding my little side, whatever the heck it is. And just kind of placing a lot of blame for things on that side of things wasn't taking me down a good mental health route. So I kind of decided to test things out and kind of go about it differently. And to kind of think about it as my little side is not just my little side, it's kind of a whole other entity. So just kind of, if I'm talking about my little side, referring to my little side more as an individual itself, trying to communicate with him on a more respectful level. I don't know. Just kind of trying things out to see if it helps my mental health side of things and helps the little side and the big side kind of be a little more not productive, but cohesive, do what it's supposed to do, instead of me being the one just like getting really pissed off at the little side, you know. So if I talk like about him or we, or oftentimes I refer to him as the baby, it's seeming at the moment to kind of help. At least it's helping me not accept, but it's helping me process the whole "you're completely bowel incontinent" thing. But it does lead to some problems. For example, my little side, or whatever the heck it is a baby. He's like a year and a half too. He is a baby. So he doesn't know, like, when I'm, well, for lack of a better term, we'll use regressed and stuff, for lack of a better term. But when I am regressed and it's more the little side in control, the ability to do things like change a diaper are basically non-existent. So it then ends up as a big and little side working together to get the change done. 9 times out of 10, it's just like, okay, we're gonna have big brain for a minute, do the work, because the little side just has no clue. Leo, just calm down. But it's been interesting. I do think I'm kind of accepting some things more since doing that. But yeah, I'm starting to get high. Sorry, my Benadryl is kicking in, so I'm a little bit on the loopy side of life. I don't know if you guys can really see it, but this eye is a little bit swelled. It's not as open as the other one. This eyelid right here is kind of swelled. This is life, especially in the spring. Like, season changes suck when you have mess. So, oh, and I don't know if I updated you all on my immunology appointment. Hi, babe. So you guys all know I have the mast cell, or what we suspect is mast cell activation syndrome. No one's given me an official diagnosis. We've worked with immunology in the past. First immunologist did some blood tests for allergies, and when I came, Simon, he is sitting on top of my sewing machine. My guy. Let's see if I can get a picture of this. I don't know if it'll show you guys very well, but he's on top of the sewing. The toy is blocking it, but he is literally sitting on top of my sewing machine. You goober. We don't sit on sewing machines. But anyway, we've been kind of getting the runaround with the mast cell activation syndrome for about 3 years since it started. My primary care doctor's like, hey, I want you to see immunology again. We need to finish working this up. It kind of took a back burner with the gastroparesis getting so bad and having to go through all the feeding tube stuff and the surgery and whatnot. Let's get back on board with figuring this out. And last time I saw my immunologist, she kind of made it sound like, well, this, and this test all came back negative for, histamine, so it's not mast cell. And that kind of left me in I'm not going back because she wasn't treating, like, we're treating it, but at the same time she was like, oh, it's probably not this, it's this, it's this. She wouldn't nail a diagnosis. Kind of, we're at this point of it's either idiopathic anaphylaxis or it's mast cell activation syndrome. Like the little EDS finger right there. Yep. Not all of them can do that because I had surgery on my wrists, but the pinky is far enough away from that it does still. Anyway, that's also why I can. Let's see. But if you lay your hand flat and go like that, I have semi-hypomobile fingers. But anyway, so we ended up having to have my appointment telehealth, which was kind of nice in the long run. But she kind of turned the table on how she was acting toward me on where we were going for this diagnosis. And she basically said, this time we're going to rule out some things. Like, there's a condition called carcinoid syndrome. I think it's basically some sort of tumory thing where it excretes hormones and it can cause like the flushing and the itching and things like that. There's also a pheochromocytoma that could cause those things. So she's like, we need to rule out these things before we can say definitively mast cell. But she definitely sounded more along the lines of this is mast cell this time, which felt really good. I don't care what the diagnosis is with this whole thing. I care that I get a diagnosis, because then when I have to go into the emergency room and things like that, I can say, hey, I have this. We can set up a protocol on exactly what we do to treat. Now, the ER doesn't always follow the protocols that we write up, but it opens up the window to my immunologist going, when they come in with a reaction, this is what you do. A, B, C, D. Which usually is IV steroids, IV Benadryl, IV Pepcid. I want to say there's usually one other thing. A lot of times they throw Zofran in there for me because I'm nauseous. But it also opens it up to, we can go, okay, instead of prednisone or Solu-Medrol, we give dexamethasone because prednisone makes me suicidal as fuck and angry as fuck. Now, steroids can do that anyway, but this one does, that particular one, literally, that is the only time in my life I've ever wanted to end things, was on that medication. And when I first started with mast cell, I was pretty much on that medication for several months at a time, not on purpose, but it was, you did a burst here, you did a 10-day course here, you did a burst here, you did a burst, you did a burst. So I was constantly getting the steroid, and we didn't really realize, because I'm not a depressed person. I wasn't sitting there going, like, I'm worthless, I want to die, it was not a depression thing. It was purely the thought of, I just don't want to be alive. There's no reason to it, I just don't want to be. And I finally realized that it was the prednisone doing so, because we had a break from it, and then we had like a month or two break, and then we went back and I had it again, and that feeling came right back. So we knew at that point that was the medication. So we try. Currently, I will not take more than a single dose of prednisone. Even with just the IV version, you do one dose. Even just that one dose gets me incredibly angry, much more so than anything. Oh boy. But yeah. So life has just been weird. Like, not weird, but life has been interesting. It's when you deal with chronic illness, you're used to being sick. You're used to things, not being good. But when life throws you a curveball, like, hey, not only are you going to have all these conditions, you're going to be bladder incontinent. Now you're going to be bowel incontinent on top of that. I wasn't ready for that curveball. So I thought you weren't feeling good. Why are you drinking energy drinks if you're not feeling good? But I was not prepared for this curveball of, bowel incontinence. Like, you all know, I've had issues on and off throughout the years. There was a period of time where I was mainly incontinent. There was also periods of time where I had to use a diaper to heal up a fissure in my intestine, because every time, yes, I have. Every time I was using the bathroom, it was opening up that fissure and causing, problems. And the main thing that caused that problem was the position I was sitting in, because we are not meant to sit on toilets. We are meant to squat. If you get your hips pulled up and more in line with the rest of your body, you don't have to really work at pooping. So having to push and things like that would cause the fissures to be worse. So I would take a break for like a week and only use a diaper. I have accidents if I'm sick. I've done that since my first surgery. After my first surgery, I kept wetting the bed. I kept pooping the bed. I kept, like, before I'm finally like, okay, we have to have diapers on hand for this, because there were just time, like, I just couldn't. I would sleep through it, and wake up completely soaked everywhere, because I have a big bladder. And with no colon, it was not a pretty sight. At one point, I did start wearing only at night, because the bedwetting was more frequent, and then that just continuously progressed. But it's like going from I can feel it, I just can't make it in time with my bowel, to I can't feel it or make it in time, is a whole new processing thing. And it's like, I always feel bad with baby. Yeah, I always feel bad for my partner and for friends, because I'm very, like, all over the place with it right now. Like, one minute I'm fine with it, the next minute I'm upset. I talk about products a lot. I talk about, like, yeah. So, ow. But it feels so all consuming right now. It feels like that is the majority of my life. And to some degree right now it is, because, it's such a big ordeal to do a diaper change. It's like, I gotta go get diaper. I gotta make sure I have cream and wipes. And then I've gotta go take a shower and clean that up and blah, 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 blah. It's a lot right now. It's a lot. It's pretty much been most of what I do for the last 2 weeks to a month, however long it's been since I've not been able to make it to the toilet. And I also have a lot of people saying, well, why don't you get it checked out? Because I already have accidents as it is. I was, in order to make it to the toilet consistently, I literally have to pay attention to every single gurgle in my belly. I have to pay attention to, is this a poop one, or is this a fart one? Or is this a I don't know one? Or is it a combination one? Like, it was literally in the back of my head all the time, analyzing everything. Like, I feel pressure. Do I need to go sit on the toilet and poop? Do I need, is this just gurgling tummy? It was a lot. So right now, I don't have to do that. And if we go get things figured out, the test to figure this stuff out is not fun. The test to figure out incontinence was not fun, or the bladder incontinence was not fun. This is even less fun. Quite honestly, I've got nerve damage all over my body as far as that goes, just from my abdomen. So the fact that right now we're not feeling things just probably means nerve damage progression. Um, and who knows? Yeah, technically it could be a little bit of my little side going, you know what, we need to not be stressed about this and just use the diaper, which is funny because that just makes me more stressed about going out and stuff like that. I don't think that's the case, because if it was, I think I would feel it. When I am in adult mode, I would feel the need to go. I currently am not feeling that. It's just happening. Um, so yeah, it's just a lot. And that's kind of why I haven't done a lot of streaming. I just didn't want it to be all about this. But the reality of it is, I kind of thought about that today. It's like, this is an incontinence channel, first and foremost. And there is not, I was researching last night because I want to know. But there's so little information on adults experiencing bowel incontinence, and not as a ABDL thing. It's all over the place when it's ABDL stuff. But that's not the content that I'm personally trying to find to help me, and it's, not content that most incontinent people are looking for. So I don't know, I might get back into that stuff a little bit, kind of go into, I kind of would like to do some vlogs about, what it actually takes with incontinence, um, what it's like dealing with, going out in public and stuff like that. Um, bring it kind of back to its roots, maybe. I mean, I'm still gonna do my live streams where I just hang out and craft and things like that. Don't get me wrong; that's most of what it's going to be. So, yeah, um, yeah, I want to do that stuff. Also, I have had so many conversations this week on this particular topic, and that is those in the ABDL community who fantasize about wearing diapers 24/7 and being incontinent, actually coming to those of us who are incontinent going, "You're so fucking lucky." I straight up told one guy who was like, everybody who has special needs and is incontinent is so lucky. Their life is so much better because they get to wear diapers. And I'm like, my guy, I will trade you in a fucking heartbeat. I will give you. And this was about a week ago when I was just dealing with, I didn't have the right cream. I was fresh into this, so my skin wasn't used to it. But TMI, my skin was so broken that it was bleeding. And I'm like, dude, I will give you my bloody butt in a heartbeat. You can have all these problems. You can have the worry about, having a blowout in public, which is very common for me. You can have the costs that it takes to be in a diaper 24/7. You can have all of it. I will give it to you happily. Because yes, I am a little, I have, you know, I do not enjoy diapers per se, but I do, like, it's normal for me. It's fine. But I miss my choice. I mean, to be fair, I didn't delve into the ABDL world before I was incontinent, so I never really had the choice to wear or not wear. I just had to wear. I had to deal with the fact that I pooped in public or I peed my pants in public. Um, the first day I became incontinent, I wet my pants 4 times before I finally just gave up and put a diaper on. Like, I can't can't take a diaper off and walk to get a new diaper and without peeing. I literally peed my pants yesterday. I stood in my doorway and took a diaper off, put it in a bag, and I walked into my doorway right here. Right there. My diapers are over here. There's about 10 feet in between them. I walked about 2 feet before suddenly wetting my pants. Yes, I had shorts on because um, my roommates and stuff were around, and I don't go around in just a diaper and t-shirt around them most of the time. It's not a hard fast thing, but mostly I don't do it. But I went from my doorway to about there, so like 4 feet maybe. and my bladder just peed. Thank God it didn't poop at the same time because it does that a lot. But my bladder just peed. I had wet pants because I didn't have the diaper on yet. I had a wet floor. I had to wash laundry, clean up the floor. Like, I will give that to you guys that fantasize about incontinence and thinking it's so wonderful. I would happily give that. And yeah, Dynasty, it is just life right now. It is just life. And I have to come to grips with that. That's the hardest part for me, is coming to grips with this is my life. And quite honestly, it's not that bad. Um, my gastroparesis is far worse than this, dealing with like, and honestly, the EDS can lead to things like incontinence, quite frankly. Um, the mast cell can cause some incontinence too. Um, so, because with mast cell, a lot of times with mast cell, people have it's like interstitial cystitis or something like that, and it's a very like painful bladder spasm type of deal, and sometimes that can cause people to wet their pants. Um, so the fact that I am now bowel incontinent, it just is probably disease progression. And there's not really anything we can do about it outside of giving me an ostomy, which I refuse to do. I had that for 2 years. It was hell. I'm so severely allergic to adhesives that I literally had bleeding rash, weeping bleeding rash on my belly for 2 years straight. I'd rather deal with diapers than that any day. I would rather shit myself in public every day than deal with that for a single day. So that's where I'm at. Um, but yeah, I don't even know. I'm now Benadryl brained and I'm just rambling. I should probably fuck off and go to bed. But it's kind of that's it's part of life right now, and I'm learning to adjust to it. Um, the hardest part is just the out in public worry. I know that I won't be quite as worried once Chloe is here to help with that. Because public changes scare the living shit out of me right now. Because I just don't know how I would do it on my own. Um, and also dealing with my current roommate, I know that she will not be the kindest about things if it happens around her. Um, so yeah, not looking forward to that on my own. But um, kind of, yeah. You can't. I don't know if you can tell or not. It was a little bit worse a while ago. This eye is kind of swelling up, um, like all around. This one, the eyelid is kind of swelling a little bit, so they're very itchy around. I started flushing, so it may not be a full blown reaction, but it was enough that I am taking Benadryl. I've also nearly scratched my dressing off several times today on my port, so yeah. My nurse had put my port dressing lower than usual, and it was on a spot that was already reactive, so it's a little bit angry right now. But Benadryl's kicking in. Um, I opted not to take Imodium today. Allergies. Yeah, mast cell is a whole hard thing. But good news on that though. As far as this was part of the immunology appointment. She's like, so there's a medication we can try. It's not approved by the FDA for use in like typical allergic reaction type of deal that I'm dealing with, but she's like, it is approved for chronic urticaria, which is hives, chronic hives. Um, so we thought about this one in the past, but because they, didn't, the first lady wasn't putting it on, wasn't putting it, like giving me a diagnosis, so we couldn't get it covered. But now she can put down, even if I have mast cell, she can put down the diagnosis of chronic urticaria. And I am now approved for this medication. It's called Xolair. It's an injection once a month, every 28 days. And it should help reduce some of the reaction stuff. From what I've seen talking to people, it helps the gut a lot, like the reactions in your gut. if you didn't know this, anaphylaxis can affect so many systems of the body, and gut-wise. For me personally, it causes a severe stomach cramping, usually immediate diarrhea, just nausea, vomiting. So a lot of people have seen it help that side of things a lot. So we actually start that next Tuesday. I believe it's next Tuesday. It might be Wednesday. It's Tuesday. Next Tuesday we start that medication. I have to like bring my EpiPen with me and stuff because there is risk of a reaction to the medication. So I have to have an EpiPen on me. I actually have to have 2 EpiPens on me. And I have to do it in office 3 times. And the wait period afterward for the first 3 shots is 2 hours. And then after that, it's just like a 30-minute wait, or a no wait. We're hoping, possibly, depending on how this shot is, I might be a candidate for home injection. So that would be awesome. Don't need supplemental oxygen? No. Typically, I only need any supplemental oxygen at night or if I'm sleeping. So like when I'm in the hospital and I'm randomly going to sleep all the time, they typically leave it on just for safety to not have to take it on and off all the time. Should I have it at night? Yeah, probably, but I don't, and I'm not going to fight for it right now. One thing with me is I have obstructive sleep apnea, and that's typically caused by your tongue just laying in the back of your mouth while you sleep, blocking off some airway. If I'm using a pacifier, that's less likely. That happens a little less likely. I do still tank, like my oxygen levels still drop. Usually I spend about 15 minutes worth of sleeping with oxygen below 88. So, wait, 21 days till you leave. What? No, it's 22 days till you leave because it's 23 days until you come, until you're here. My battery is dead. There it is. But yeah, we're getting close. We're getting close. Let go of the cord. I'm sitting on it. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. If any of y'all have suggestions for things like diaper covers, or I'm also looking into like different, like there are some cloth diapers that can be used as a cover. You still have the same amount of days. It's just that it's you count it differently. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for diapers and stuff, I know, yes, I used to make them. I still have my patterns. I could technically make them. I just don't have the incredible energy to do so right now. I am going to be making a couple of covers. Oh yeah, it's 5 o'clock, but still. I am going to be making a couple of covers for myself. I just don't want to, like, obviously, because I'm not currently cloth diapering, at least not most of the time, I very well may try it at night because I think we'll have a little bit less leakage go on. But the only stipulations I have on things is I'm probably not going to be using vinyl because I am fairly reactive to the smell of vinyl, especially new vinyl. And vinyl is less breathable and it wears out faster. So I primarily want to stay toward like the PUL side of things. I know you want to try them, but quite honestly, it's cheaper to just buy them right now. With the amount of adult cloth diapers on Amazon right now, it's far cheaper to do it that way. I just don't have that choice because I am in a size that is hard to get. So I end up having to make mine. I am almost to the point where I can start finding like the XL diapers online, like Amazon and stuff, and fitting into those. I am like this close. There is one diaper I'm going to try at some point from Etsy, that I'm hoping I fit in. Um, because if I can even do like, a, if I can do a cloth diaper at night, I think it would be good for, avoiding leaks and things like that. So, okay. Love you too, hon. I'll be over there in a few. I'm almost done. Little Sight is not incredibly happy about being bottled up right now because I am not feeling good and he is getting the brunt of it. Well, we're dealing with the same physical part, but he's just a kiddo and doesn't know how to handle being sick. And it makes him very clingy and fussy and just, yeah. So I get a lot of baby in my head crying, which is usually about, eventually I'm just like, I'm done. I need him to be quiet. So he gets to come out and take naps, play game, like watch Bluey, have bottle, things like that. So it's getting to that point. Not to mention we're on Benadryl right now, and not only are we loopy, but dealing with him. So yay me. But yeah, cloth diapers is definitely an option I would like to explore for certain times. Part of me goes like, benefit of to them in public is A, they're quiet, and B, they kind of hold in the poop a little better. So part of me goes, we should do those when we go out in public. But the other part of me is like, can you imagine dealing with a very poopy diaper in public and not being able to just toss it? Having to clean it when you get home and all that. I don't know if I want to deal with that level of things. But also for me, cloth diapers are a little bit of an iffy option if I'm having to use diaper cream. Now, there are ways to be able to use diaper cream and have no problem, and that's usually by either a disposable liner or a handmade liner out of Polar Fleece or Blizzard Fleece. It keeps that off the diaper itself. The main thing is you just can't have diaper cream on the actual diaper, or you will end up with it building up and things like that. It'll affect the absorbency. So if I do cloth diaper, it has to be with a liner, which the nice thing about a liner is it takes all the solid parts of the poop, because TMI, but just educating you on what it's like to have no colon. Even when you have diarrhea, there's still stuff in that diarrhea. There's still sediment. It's not complete liquid. Um, so having a liner catches that sediment. It allows the fluid to go through, but it doesn't let the solids go through and get on the diaper. So that's where a liner also comes in handy. Like, quite honestly, if you're cloth diapering and you're going to be pooping in them, use a liner. It's going to save you so much hassle. Disposable ones are great because you can just pick it up and throw it away, but it is more expensive in the long run to do so. So you kind of have to do, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But yeah, that's kind of what's up. Anybody have any questions or anything? I'm happy to answer. I'm probably going to be on here for another few minutes and then go take a rest while this Benadryl is raging in my body. But yeah. One other thing that I'm kind of sad about is the company that I used to use for PUL. Either they changed their name and they're this other company that they might be, I'm not sure. Either they changed their name or they just went out of business. And it's kind of a bummer because they had some really cool prints. I did find some other places that have some really cool PUL prints. But PUL is expensive as fuck. It costs about $30 for me to make a cover. Minimum. It costs... Well, this one place I'm going to get it from, they sell it by the meter. So that's 39 inches, which is perfect because for me to cover fully a disposable diaper completely, I need 36 inches minimum. So having a 39-inch meter fabric is going to be really nice because I won't have to buy a yard and a half to get the right measurement. So it's cheaper. I kind of wish more places sold by the meter, but they don't. So, but I did find some that I'm going to test out. I'm getting 2 prints probably tomorrow. And I think I'm going to make a pull-on cover and a Velcro cover to see which one we like better. I know there's going to be different instances where we'll need different things. I think that the Velcro cover is personally going to work better for me just because with a pull-on cover, you have to move around and stand up and shit like that to get it on, or like roll back and forth till it's up. With a Velcro or snap cover, you can just lay down, put it on just like you would a diaper. You can literally put it under the diaper before I lay down or something like that. When you're putting the other diaper under me, you can just slip it under once, and it's one fluid motion for all of it. So, yeah. But it's going to be interesting. I certainly did not expect to be back in the world of sewing diaper-related things. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I am nervous and like I enjoy sewing, so like the prospect of sewing these things is kind of fun. But it's also like I am so nervous. Because once again, TMI. I don't have a colon. So my body doesn't pass gas normally. Whenever I fart, I'm usually pooping. Or at least something comes out with it. So when I'm pooping, all the farts happen. And it literally is like freaking machine gun level. It was really funny because the other night I was recording myself kind of falling asleep. I was doing it for the partner. And so I set my phone up, I hit record, and I'm laying there for a few minutes, and then I start to fall asleep. And on the video, you can literally hear, you can hear me, like as I'm falling asleep. Like I was not conscious enough to really realize it was going on, but you can hear like as I fell asleep, I messed myself. It's like, it's noisy, and it's embarrassing that it's noisy. Even for me, even using the toilet in public at all was something I did not do very often unless I had to. And if like I was in a public restroom and somebody came in, I'd hold that in as long as I could, wait till they left, and then I'd go. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to the messes that are going to happen. What diaper do you recommend to use day to day? And what diaper am I using now? Currently, I am in a Puppers from Tykables. What diaper you use day to day depends on when you're changing, whether or not you're messing and wetting, what your bladder capacity is. For me, I don't use a different diaper between day and night because my bladder is giant, and 90% of the time when I pee a ton and quickly. So I have to have something that can hold a lot and get it in fast and absorb it fast. With the messes, I kind of have to have something that's good at containment. So it needs to be like leak guards, all that. If you're not wanting, like if you're wanting to change as few times as possible, quite honestly, Tykables are my hands down favorite. Especially if you are only using it to pee and you use the toilet for number 2. They are Velcro, or at least most of their diapers are Velcro, so you can take it on and off quite a few times. That's primarily why I go with them, is because of that. In the past, I was using Rears, but they did some changes to the diapers last year, and they didn't function properly for me. They changed the sap to pulp ratio, which causes, when you have too much sap, that sap is that crystal stuff that absorbs in baby diapers and stuff. Essentially, it's like a giant Orby or a tiny Orby. And when that's wet, if you have, thighs and thunder thighs like I do, that padding will get separated. It will be pushed to the back and the front, and there'll be nothing in the middle. So I stopped using them because of that. I noticed with them, I'm like, okay, something's different. I was leaking all the time when I wasn't. I was like the one that almost never leaked unless I really took the diaper too far. But I was leaking on just one or two weddings. I was waking up to a drenched bed. And I realized what the problem was. I realized that the padding was getting moved and there wasn't enough in the center to absorb properly and quickly. So I don't use rears anymore, although they were good. A lot of people still like them. I don't. Tykables, hands down for me, are really good. I am hopefully next month, fingers crossed, going to be trying the Pretend Agains or whatever they are. They seem very similar to Tykables, so I want to try them, and they're freaking adorable. Currently, the ones that I use from Tykables, they're getting ready to the summer release a bunch of different prints. But my current go-to right now for them is the camo. My feeding tube's empty. Is the blue camo, the puppers, and the potty monster. When I first tried the potty monster, I was like, okay, it's a cloth back. I'm not hugely fond of cloth backs. However, I'm really, with having to use them, or like with messing and stuff, I don't know, I like the way they handle messes a lot. So I use those too. But my current diaper that I'm in is a pupper. My order that I am placing tomorrow is going to be puppers, potty monsters, and camos, possibly waddlers. But I'm thinking just the other ones. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm itchy. My feeding tube is done, which means I've got to refill it before I go take a nap. So, let me get that going real quick. I got to go grab some formula. That's another fun fact with incontinence. Fun thing about incontinence. Basically, I have the consistency of a infant that is formula fed, because I am formula fed, just through a different route. But that's been an interesting change to deal with as well. Is like, it's just not how it was. I'm on an IV, that's right. I have to take this with me. Hang on. I forgot I was still on my IV. Normally by this time of day I'm done with my IV, so I don't typically have to take it with me when I am refilling. So, but you guys will get to hang with me while I do that. I'm going to lower this down a bit. There we go. Untangle this, untangle that. I can take this with me. Excuse me. My cat is in the way though. Buddy. Hi. I'm not petting you right now. I'm grabbing formula. You are just so happen to be in my way. And then after I do this, I'm definitely going to go ahead and get off of stream because I'm going to let the little guy out to deal with things. But yeah. These are the most well-glued boxes you will ever find. Three, 1, 2, 3. And then the rest of these, oh shit, locked. It's got stuff in it. There we go. I just take these and oh shit, don't fall over. Well, okay, fine. You do your thing. I'll fix those later. Okay. It's been one of those weeks where I just am so tired of my feeding tube. And we are, of course, all tangled up in the ivy. Yay me. Why is it yelling out? Oh. Power down. Hang on. We are 100% tangled here. Because I was not very careful when I started my IV today. I'm tangling this shit. There we go. I've also just given myself a little extra Pedialyte today because I need the hydration with all of the very, very loose foods. Annoyingly, so my pump hasn't been working very well lately, and so I am needing a new one. But the whole entire manufacturer is back ordered, so they're not able to do any pump replacement right now. So I'm having to finagle and get this thing to work properly. It's not giving me as much fluids as it should because of it. I usually do 2 liters a day of Pedialyte, and lately I've been getting in maybe one and a half at max instead of the 2, or the nearly 2, I should say. Handy dandy little thing that Pedialyte does, because they have that foil thing inside of it. They have a little thingamabobby on the top that punctures and opens it for you. It's very nice. It saves me a lot of hassle. Thankfully, I'm taking a nap, so I don't have to lug around the 15-pound backpack right when it's freshly made. Because I carry 3 liters of liquids in my bag at a time because of the Pedialyte, the formula, and then the IV. One. I always pre-open them because it's so much easier than doing it when I have to hold one in one hand. Yeah. I am supposed to be doing about 3 1/3 of these every day. Currently, I'm not even always getting the full 3 because my pump is running so slow. So I'm only putting 3 in there. So that's like 975 mils. And then 1,700 mils of that and 1,000 mils of IV. And this one is a nice and organic plant-based formula, which gives me gas like crazy. So, yeah. Rightio. So, there's that. This is my little pump right here. Get it all set up, turn it on. I don't like their new tubing at all. Keep settings. Prime it. get all the air out of the line because I don't need the additional gas from that. Auto prime. It's so slow. It's not. I bet you it's gonna stop at about that point. Right on. Right on. It's supposed to fill it up all the way, but does it? No. I know if it doesn't fill it up all the way, it's not gonna work. That'll do that. Done. And now we can put it in the bag. Righty. You stand over there. You go right there. Let's tighten that up a little bit. Tighten that up. My roommate made me this handy dandy little thing that goes in here out of PVC pipe. Most of the plan was my idea. We do have a few things we got to fix on it, but it is doable for now. And it works to keep the thing that I needed it to do was keep it upright because the backpack likes to just fold itself in half and fall over. But this keeps it completely upright, which is very nice. Okay. Now we hook me up. And we hit the start button. Ta-da! Run. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close it up because I am about ready to zonk for a little while. It is nap time. It is time for a Benadryl nap, I call it. There it is. So it is time. I am too loopy. So I will see you guys all another day. I hope you have an awesome week. I'm going to do my best to have an awesome week. It's going to be filled with appointments. Yeah. Anyway, I will see you guys later.